Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. The Waco History Podcast is sponsored by Brotherwell Brewing on historic Bridge Street in Waco.
Welcome to the Waco History Podcast. We're going to air for you over the next few months a special series of Waco History Living Stories. These were segments that were originally aired on KWVU here in Waco. They were produced by the Institute for Oral History editor, Michelle Holland, and narrated by two fabulous narrators, Louis Maze and Kim Patterson. And so these highlight oral histories from the collection of the Institute for Oral History at Baylor University, which I direct, which has been around since 1970 and has over 1,000 interviews related to Waco and McLennan County history, and we're happy to highlight those here. As our thoughts begin to turn to warmer weather, this Living Stories vignette dives into childhood memories of Cameron Park.
Since its dedication in 1910, Waco's Cameron Park has grown from 125 to more than 400 acres, with land gifts from the Cameron family, and has provided children with countless hours of exercise and enjoyment. Charlie Turner of Hewitt recalls playing in the park as a young boy in the 1950s and 60s.
There were some little wading pools we would go play in, and then of course I would get in trouble every now and then because after I got in the wading pool I'd get back in the dirt by the flowers, but had a real good time. And it's just a great place to play because where I lived there was no grass in the backyard, so going into a park like Cameron Park, it was like a kid's dream because there were all the trees. Down near the Pecan Bottoms there was these big swings that I remember, and this merry-go-round and the seesaws, and then there was a climbing ladder and then the monkey bars. Every now and then I had an old Tonka truck. It was a moving van Tonka truck that I had a string on, and I'd take it with me once in a while and pull it around on the street part that was paved. If I had a ball, I could throw it as hard as I wanted to and not get in trouble because it was in the neighbor's yard. I could play ball. I could hit the ball as hard as I could. Cameron Park was a paradise to me.
He describes the many adventures the park afforded him.
There were these trees there. There was vines growing through the trees, and I remember moss down there. Whether it was there or not, as a kid, I remember it because I remember seeing pictures in books about these forests and all. And so when I'd get in Cameron Park, I'd go looking at that, and here were these forest-like looking areas that I remember from reading the books. And I could be in England, or I could be in Germany, or I could just be in the Brazilian jungle. So Cameron Park took on a new personality each time. I was in the Amazon one time. I was in Nottingham Woods the next time. The sheriff pursuing me, and then trying to get away from the piranhas in the little wading pools and all. I mean, I had a fertile imagination.
Frank Curry of Waco shares memories of Cameron Park from the 20s and 30s.
Proctor Springs, being able to go down there and get that cold water coming out of that hill and get in that little pool, and we could take watermelons down there in the summer and put them in that cold water and get them good and cool and break them open and eat. They had duck pens with exotic ducks in them for you to visit and a little pool for them to swim in. It was just great to be in the park.
Curry explains that some of his favorite activities involve the Brazos.
Mama used to tell us, you boys don't get into that water down talking about the river. And we'd spend hours in the water and come home in the afternoon, and our eyes were bloodshot. And she'd say, y'all been in that water? No, ma'am. And your eyes were bloodshot. But we had ropes tied off the trees hanging over the river, and we'd swing into the river. We'd swim from one side to the other. We just had a ball. We'd play piggy wiggy or something, touch each other and try to swim away and all that stuff. But we had a great time. We loved fishing. We always kept throw lines in the river.
Today, Cameron Park remains mostly undeveloped and is one of the largest municipal parks in Texas. No matter what new technology and toys come along, nothing will replace exploring and playing in the great outdoors.
Thanks for listening to the Waco History Podcast. Like what you heard? Subscribe, rate, and review our show on iTunes so we can reach more listeners. You can find show notes and info on every episode at wacohistorypodcast.com, and more info on Waco's past at wacohistory.org. Our theme music, used with permission, is Cross the Brazos at Waco, performed by the late Billy Walker. For more info on Billy's music, go to billywalker.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.